So the Thunder make a statement in Game One, eventually pulling away from the Wolves and winning in pretty convincing fashion. The thing that was alarming for the Minnesota Timberwolves and why it's to the point where I'm almost rethinking, my prediction. I originally had the Oklahoma City Thunder winning in 7 games against the Timberwolves because I thought this would be a long series. I normally don't overreact by Game One, no matter how it goes, especially if it's in blowout fashion, but last night kind of made me, pause because of how dominant the Thunder were in the second half. Like the second half, especially, it was just like an absolute runaway. Like, it wasn't even a contest at the point. You started seeing like Memphis. I mean, you started to see Oklahoma City really start wearing down Minnesota, like to the point where they couldn't score. Like they were turning the ball over, something you really can't do against this great Oklahoma City defense. They've been number one in the NBA all year long. They live and feed off of turnovers, getting points off of turnovers. And that's what Minnesota did. They gave them so many points with their strength. Julius Randle had an amazing first half, looked unstoppable, but only 8 points in the second half, didn't really get up as many shots. Anthony Edwards only getting up about 13 shots. I mean, that's not going to get it done against this OKC team. Finished with 18 points and 9 rebounds. I know he left the game with an ankle injury. Maybe that affected him a little bit, but Edwards can't go forward in this series just taking 13 shots. He's got to be more aggressive on the offensive end. He has to get to the free throw line a lot more, which is something that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did so well as he's done the entire year. That's part of the reason he's the MVP. The bench for Minnesota was an absolute non-factor, whereas Oklahoma City played about 10 guys, and they played significant minutes, like to the point where they had enough to make an impact. I'm looking down the line here. I mean, they went down all the way to Casey Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe. All these guys, they only had one person on their bench that didn't play. So you're talking about the depth of Oklahoma City starting to really, make its imprint. Minnesota's bench is going to have to play a ton better if they want to have a chance in this series. Now, I expect Anthony Edwards to be better. I expect Julius Randle to have a better second half than he did. I'm expecting more from Jaden Daniels and Mike Conley, but really I'm paying attention to that bench. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, guys like that really have to step up and do better because this can very quickly get away from Minnesota, and we could be looking at possibly a 5-game series. Dare I say a sweep if we see what we saw in the second half going forward.